Squared Circle Expo, how's everybody doing? All right, thank you for coming to Squared Circle this year, and also thank you for coming to the SCX panel series. Today we're going to start out with two gentlemen that are the Squared Circle Expo Tag Team Champions. First, we'll start out with Kal Herro. And of course, what does everybody want? Al Snow.
Hello, everybody. Calm down. Don't be so excited to meet me. I mean, I know it's a big opportunity, once in a lifetime. Again, I'm continuing my record of being an outstanding draw here. Thank you guys for showing up. Look at you, just sit here. You're not an oil painting. You can react. It's okay. You guys having a good time? Oh, there we go. Okay. I thought we were at the coma section in the hospital there for a while, or at a Mick Foley match. Oh!
Whoa!
Hey. Back in the day, Mick would always tell all of us in the locker room, hey, you know, when I get done wrestling, I'm going to be a stand-up comic. We would all laugh, you know. Now he's a stand-up comic, and nobody's laughing. Give it a second. Let it catch on. It'll be there. Speaking of comedy shows, fan just asked me if I'm still doing mine. I said, yep, I'll be wrestling tonight. So,
speaking of Mick, I read, and you know, everything on the internet is true. So I wanted to ask you if it was true, Al. Did you recommend maybe the Sacco thing to him?
I came up, told him about Sacco because we were talking about having, he was asking about going to Vince's hospital room that night, and he had the clown, and I was like, well, you need to throw a sock puppet show. That'll really annoy him. And because I knew it would really actually annoy him. And so told him about, draw the face on the sock and call it Mr. Sacco. And then now he carries those things in his crotch and sticks them in other men's mouths. So incredibly disgusting, especially if you've seen his crotch.
So question for both of you guys. We'll start with Kal. What made you want to become a pro wrestler?
So I grew up in the sport of professional wrestling. My dad, he's a wrestling promoter up in Milwaukee. So I grew up in the circus. And, it came time to pick a college. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. But at the same time, I grew up with Al around. And a lot of these guys gave me an awesome childhood. So, and I'm sure everyone here, wrestling is a huge part of our lives. And I was like, I'm going to join the circus. And I've been blessed. I am now a official rocker with Al Snow and Marty Jannetty. So that is the coolest thing on the planet. And
we both said we're sorry.
So how about you, Al?
I have no clue. None. I mean, it's been 43 years, and people ask me, I go, why you want to be a wrestler? I go, I don't have an idea. I don't know. I really don't. And I think that if you're really passionate about something, you really have a desire, that should be kind of what your answer is. It's what I've wanted to do, and I've loved to do it, and I've been blessed to do it for as long as I have. No one's yet to figure out. I have no clue what I'm doing, and I'm still able to keep doing it. And I'm just so grateful. So, and thank you guys, because without you guys, we'd never get to do what we're doing in the first place. So I literally at 14 decided I wanted to fake fight other men in their underwear for money. So that sounded really weird. Is Chris Hansen anywhere nearby?
So talk a little bit about OVW. How's that going?
It's been fantastic. We had a Netflix docuseries that came out a couple of years ago. That was life-changing for all of us. And we do live TV every Thursday night, 7 o'clock on YouTube. And Al leads us into battle every single week. And it is the greatest experience I've ever had.
At least for one of us.
What does it mean to be able to? You said you grew up around Al, and to be able to learn from someone like him with so much knowledge. What is that like for someone your age?
I feel like I had to grow up fast, but it's been like it's all I know. Like I don't know another side of growing up or really life. It's always been wrestling. A lot, everything I know has been from wrestling, and it's making me. I'm on this stage today because of it. You know.
That's what's called Stockholm Syndrome for those of you out there that don't know. Okay, it's where you start to identify with your captor. So,
So Al, you always have some interesting things to say on the current state of wrestling.
I'm sure I do.
So with WrestleMania just passing, I'm just curious,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, I thought night one I thought was better than night two. You know, everyone is all up in arms about the finish of night two. There are a lot of things you have to take into consideration. There are lots of things that you're not going to see because everything that is done a lot of times today doesn't really coalesce and have a full or complete picture until sometimes 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. It's a constant assembly of a picture puzzle that you have no edge pieces to or a lid, and that you're trying to create the best picture you can imagine that will sell to as much of a mass audience as possible. And so, you can't always judge that finished puzzle by just one, because that picture you got on the second night at the very end with John Cena is just a small snippet of what is one piece of a larger puzzle that at once it's all assembled together, you're going to go, oh, wow, that was incredible. Oh, Triple H is such a genius. And you're going to be, oozing all over yourselves on the internet that 6 months ago you were complaining and having outrage. So, be aware there's always a much broader, much bigger vision that they're attempting to do. And, as much as you attempt to do it, it's going to constantly change and evolve. That's the magic of it, and also the madness of it that you're, working with. So, don't judge the picture just by that one little thing. When you start looking deeper into it, you might start seeing little things that will lead to other things further down the road and maybe give you a greater appreciation for the match. Your own reaction, the fact that you're indignant and that you find the finish distasteful, maybe that was kind of what they were going for. Did you realize that? That's really when you're up here and you're trying to perform, is you're trying to evoke an emotional response. And maybe that was the exact one that we wanted you to have. Not me, but they wanted you to have, so that when they give you what it is you really want, you'll be that much better, more happy, more excited, more satisfied, because you had that moment where you were indignant. But you're not patient anymore. You don't wait, and you stand in judgment because you assume, because you have access to information, that you have knowledge. And let me point something out for all of you. You have access to information that allows you to create an opinion. An opinion is the lowest form of human knowledge. It means you don't need any actual information to create one. And let's face it, we all have one, okay? But it's worthless. It means nothing because it costs nothing to give or get, and so it has no value. In order to have real knowledge on any topic, you have to have a certain amount of information, and then you have to have a commensurate amount of experience so that you have an understanding about that topic, which will give you that knowledge. Otherwise, if you don't have the experience to go along with it, you're only looking on the surface and only basing your opinion on just your access to only a little bit of information. So keep that in mind when you're getting so wired up. And I appreciate your passion and really think it's awesome because there are so few fans of any form of entertainment these days that are so passionate and so driven, and that and God bless your hearts, so vocal. But you're not going to dictate what's going to occur. Okay, I know they like to tell you that, like especially WWE. Oh, we listen to the voice. No, they don't. You can't. There's got to be one cook in the kitchen. There's got to be one captain of the ship that's going to steer the boat in the direction that you can't see. They have a vision 6, 8, 12, 2 years from now that they're hoping will build business and appeal to a much even broader audience. So chill out, guys. Unclench your buttholes like all of us together. Oh, there we go. I just let go. Now that little piece of coal is no longer going to be a diamond.
So switching gears to training.
Yeah, switching gears to training. Wow, that was a deep answer that none of you thought when I'm coming to this TED Talk. Al's not going that far.
Al will
Now
always
we're going to
go
talk
that far.
about buttholes. Did you know, and you can Google this, the human anus can stretch up to 8 inches. That's a shoot. Seriously. And if you're in yoga class and like Susan's over there like, I just can't do it about that flexible, you go, dare to dream, Susan. You're capable of more than you imagine. Also, a little side note, Google this too. Raccoons will fit in a 4-inch orifice. That means you could basically the equivalent of shoving 2 raccoons up your ass. So if you guys don't have a hobby and you're a little dull and not busy later in the hotel room, hey, go out by the trash dumpster, you pick up a couple varmints, see what happens.
Were any of you here a few years ago? We did a panel with Hal where he had hiccups for, how long did you have hiccups for?
I had hiccups for about 16 days, which is now my favorite description on the internet, that my voice sounds like I'm Darth Vader, a heavy smoker. I'm Darth Vader with emphysema.
Did they ever say why you had it for that long?
I had COVID right before and came here. And when I was coughing, I apparently sprained my diaphragm. That's what they said. I didn't even know you could do that. And it's like, spraining your duodenum. What the hell is a duodenum? Yeah, they gave me antipsychotic medicine, which was awesome because we stayed at that trip. We stayed at Kevin Thorne's house here in Indianapolis. And then I woke up, had to go to the bathroom, and in my underwear, I was having a dream that I was going to planning this celebration, and I don't know what the hell that was. I had to find it, and so I got up, went to the bathroom, and I went, I gotta find that. So I proceeded to go through their entire bathroom to the point where I took the lid off the tank of the toilet, and then was about to go back in the room where my wife was asleep blissfully, because I was no longer snoring or hiccuping, and because I was out in the hallway doing it. And I thought, I got to find that. So I went in Kevin and his wife's room while they laid in bed and searched through their entire room, nightstands included, and closets, and then went down to their daughter's room, and then their son's, who wasn't in the room at the time, and then down into the kitchen. I went through their entire kitchen, all their cabinets, their refrigerator, their stove, their oven, and then proceeded to go throughout the rest of the house. I just didn't make it to the basement or garage till when I finally gave up and went back to bed. And then in the morning, I told all of them, and they all looked at me like, yeah, okay. Like, that happens all the time. So, yeah, it was fun.
Well, we're glad you're better now.
Yeah, my wife gave me Midol that trip, and then, like, I didn't know that, but it had, like, tons of caffeine. I was up here buzzing like I was having a good time. So I'm thinking now, to outdo that performance, I'll need a little bit of Midol and maybe some gas station hard-on pills, and I'll be rolling.
So getting back to the training.
Let's go take right off there.
Got a little off track. Cal, to anybody that's looking to get into wrestling, when you're looking at a wrestling school, what should you be looking for?
You should look for find a trainer that's been to places you want to be. Like, for me, WWE, WrestleMania. This guy right here, he's done it. He's done the dance. So look for guys that have that experience on that level, and just do it. You know, don't regret not doing it.
Very cool. So, Al, what do you look for in a student?
What do I look for as a student? Two things. One is their commitment to themselves. Everything that is done in life, but especially in business, is an investment of time, money, and effort. If you're not willing to invest the time, money, and effort into yourself, how are you ever going to convince somebody else to do so? So I want you to walk through the door like you are already investing in yourself, so that you motivate me to now want to invest my time and effort into you to help you achieve your dreams. And then the other is to be coachable, have a great attitude, be willing to learn, accept the fact that you don't already know everything. Be open to experiences. Be open to making mistakes and be willing to do them. Don't be so self-conscious. And then you'll be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Pretty easy. I mean, it's not hard, like magic for the blind, you know. They love card tricks. You just got to say ta-da after every trick, or not, they don't know anything happened. It's like, is this your card? And they're like, I don't know. And you go, it is, ta-da. Oh my God, how do you do it?
So fans have sort of a...
Guys, you have no idea what you walked into, do you? Because I have on 3 hours sleep and I don't care. So
A lot of the fans think they know what the term jobber means, and they don't. So could you tell us what that term really means?
sure, I love enlightening people. I mean, that's why, share, did you know dolphins are assholes? I mean, really. They really are. Anyway, we could get into that whole thing. I mean, they do drugs, they, sex orgies. They like, multiple sex. I learned that at a bachelor party one night. Anyway, people, like, the parents are putting their hands over their kids' ears. So this is not family friendly. The term jobber comes from the fact of back in the day, before wrestling became where it is now, because the wrestling business has evolved in one aspect of that is not so much attendance or physically based presence driven as far as revenue. It is now used as content supply. So like the Netflix with Raw is in USA and a lot of networks is that they pay WWE or AEW or any other promotion to supply content, to create a show that then now the network has on the air. Now, when the inception of television, it was very much a symbiotic relationship. Television needed content. The promoters needed an avenue to basically advertise, publicize their product, which were the wrestlers. And that's why for years and decades, a wrestling television show was never a television show. Raw was not a television show. It is now. But back in the day, it was a 2-hour commercial. A 2-hour commercial to sell the product, the wrestlers themselves, to motivate you to want to attend the live events and buy the pay-per-views and the merchandise. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? So for a wrestler, being on TV was an opportunity. That's the way that it was dealt with, and hence, therefore, wrestlers weren't paid to be on TV. If you were in a territory, you didn't make money going to do television. You made your money on the live events, because once you were on television, whether you won or lost, inconsequential, that don't mean anything. But if you won or lost, regardless, you had been on television. Therefore, more of an audience was now aware of who you were, and your name on the poster motivated some of those people to come in and see you at the building, or at least that was the thought process. So, for instance, when you first broke into the business back in the day and you were paying your dues, you weren't paid anything or little when you were on a show. You were always last in line to get paid based on the house, because you were plus one other match or additional all-stars or other exciting bouts. So therefore you were entitled to be the last guy that got paid, whatever was left. of the split on the house, where if you were on TV, then more of an audience would know who you were selling your product, it was a commercial. If you were a job guy, you were a guy, a wrestler who came, or a girl, don't want to think I'm alienating anybody, came to the TV wrestling show and were paid for that day because you were not going to go out on the live events. Therefore, it was not an opportunity to sell yourself to where you could capitalize that appearance out on the live events and make yourself a draw. You were there to perform a job, a service, and you were paid for that day. Hence, it's a job. Hence, you're a job guy. Hence, you're a jobber, which jobber, the term has been used as a sign of disrespect and disdain and making people feel like they're less than, or curtain jerker. And let me be the first to tell you all, there is nobody that's bigger than the business. The reason we all, and you all now are privy to it, the reason we all shake each other's hands every single time we see each other, like it's like a welcome line at a wedding, and the reason we say thank you is to keep reminding ourselves of the fact that not one of us can do it alone. You can't be the main event without the opening match. You can't be the opening match without the main event. You can't win if someone's not willing to let you and they're willing to lose. As crazy as this may sound, and it does happen, you can't lose if somebody's not willing to win. That don't happen very often, but it does. And so there's nobody, jobber, and it being a disparaging term of, oh, he's just a jobber. That's like when we claim that that band, they're just a one-hit wonder. Do you know what the odds are of anyone in music having even just one hit on the Billboard charts? And you think that now, just because they had one, they're the shits? Seriously? How many of you got a hit on the Billboard charts? I know I don't. I'm surprised with my singing voice, but I did do karaoke one time in Japan, and the only reason I did was because they had Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. It was awesome. In Tokyo, singing Godzilla. Oh, no. Look out, Tokyo. Here comes Godzilla. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways. But that's what a jobber is. We don't have jobbers anymore. They don't exist because we are now in a place where, again, it's television's starting to move away from being a commercial for that live event, that pay-per-view, that, et cetera, starting to evolve more into being content creation and supply for a network. So they're it's becoming a shift. And therefore, everybody's now being paid to be on TV because they're now a talent that's a part of that content that's being created.
I spoke with Swerve yesterday, and as fans, we've always been told that your number one job is to win over the crowd. Yeah. But he also said that it's very important to also win over the locker room. Yeah. Do you find that to be true as well?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's just as important. But let's face it, you're never going to win that battle with the locker room because it's a competitive, very ultra competitive business, and it's just human nature that when you're in that locker room, part and parcel of the game is that and you all would do the same thing in the room. If one of you had 30 seconds of television time, then everybody else in the room is going to feel they were more deserving of that 30 seconds, and they're now going to want to have that 30 seconds. They're going to now look to take that 30 seconds any way they can away from you. And that's why you'll hear so many complaints of people when they're on that higher level in that tier of WWE and AEW is because you're only as good as the last time you performed. And the pressure and the stress of having to be on that edge and competing with every single other person that they're your friends, they're your comrades, but at the same time, you'd miss a step, they have no problem stepping forward and past you and taking what you had. And as you go up, the pressure gets more. Imagine you want to live the fantasy of being main event of WrestleMania. That means you want to live the fantasy. You also want to now live the responsibility of WrestleMania. You want to be on Raw. Great. You want to be out there, but now you're going to live the stress, the responsibility of making sure there's a return on the investment that was made in you. What do I mean? You've all been there. You've been down to Indianapolis here to the Coliseum. You've seen all of those trucks, but not one of you ever stopped and thought for a second, how much do those trucks cost? How much do those trucks cost to wrap? How much do they cost to maintain? How much do they cost the fuel, the insurance, the driver? How much does it cost for all the stuff in that truck? How much does it cost for all they hire at least 150 stagehands locally whenever they do Raw or SmackDown. Did you know that? How do they pay for that? For all the lighting equipment, how do they pay for it? For the lighting experts, for the sound experts, for the cameras, the camera operators, for all the producers, all the production equipment in the back, for the satellite time, all the people that are in Stamford, Connecticut. How do they pay for all of that? By you, the wrestler, connecting with you, the audience, and keeping your attention and preventing you from doing one simple act, turning the channel. How hard is it to keep you from turning the channel? Think. You sitting at home, right? Because that's the wrestler's job. Job's not to wrestle. The job is to capture your attention and keep it the second they walk through that curtain. Otherwise, they serve zero purpose. None. I don't care how athletic they are. I don't care how amazingly adept or handsome they are, charismatic. If it does not keep you from turning the channel, we're done. Here's where it gets even harder. You know what their real job is? Their real job is to motivate you to leave the comfort, safety, and security of your home, be so excited that you want to get in a car, drive to a building, pay a ridiculous amount of money to park your car, basically an apartment for the night, okay, or a cheap motel. You never know what's going on in those parking lots with the cars, especially those foreign jobs. I mean, then you got to pay to get in a building. Think about this. You got to pay to get in a building, to sit in a seat you don't want to sit in, like this, around people you don't want to sit around, to pay for food you wouldn't eat anywhere else, to watch that wrestler or that movie actor do their job. That's the wrestler's job. Not to wrestle. It's to motivate you to care enough and be interested enough and live vicariously enough through them and their efforts to want to pay to see them or prevent you from turning the channel. That's their responsibility, because the second you turn that channel, all of those trucks can't be paid for. All of those lights, the rent on that Coliseum can't be paid for. Do you understand? The minute you don't show up at an event, you don't show up at WrestleMania, we can't pay for the stadium this time. We'll catch you next time. That's their job. And in order to do that, you got to compete. You got to fight. And you've always got to be 3 steps ahead of everyone else in that locker room at the same time. But face facts. They're not going to like you, period. But the most important thing is that they respect you. Because let's face it, that's the most important aspect in life in general, is just respect. No ifs, ands, or buts. And that's been my TED Talk for today.
All right, one last question from me before we take it to the audience.
Let's take it to the audience.
You're defending your titles tonight.
Yeah, we are.
Talk a little bit about that match, if you could.
365 days as the Squared Circle Tag Team Champions. Tonight we defend them against the Headbangers, the newest rockers in the Headbangers 2025.
I didn't have that on my bingo card. Of course, I also didn't have on my bingo card.
I got you too.
Yeah, it did. Hey, that better. Oh, yeah. I also did have on my bingo card that I was going to have somebody give me dildos that are made of me. That's right. I've got a black light and a glow-in-the-dark dildo at my table that are me. So the next time you want to call me dickhead, hey, you're right. I'm not making it up. This guy probably dildos. Now my wife can say I never leave her alone. Is she in here? Good. She didn't hear that.
All right, who in the audience has a question?
So, one of the things you said at the beginning was yoga and Uranus stretching. I'm a yoga teacher, so thank you for that.
Oh, no problem, man.
And
I mean, if they know how to stretch their anuses and it gives you more business, good for you.
I'll make sure to mention that in the class. I'm a sucker for the original Tough Enough. And is there any standout moments from that show for you?
The entire time I was on there would be a standout moment. It was such a wonderful experience, and it was probably one of the things I'm most proud of being involved with wrestling business. You know, people don't realize, I don't think now, like that was a groundbreaking reality series, not just with wrestling in general, but the fact that prior to that there was really only Survivor and there was Real World, and so that was the very first time they decided to combine the aspects of both. And prior to that, no one else had ever done it before. So, and that was prior to scripted reality. I mean, they turned the camera on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and, filmed us. And they would give us, they create circumstances or events and then hope that would generate some kind of interaction or drama so that they could then create stories out of it. But other than that, they didn't come and say, well, you need to do this or you need to do it that way or anything like that. So it was an amazing, awesome experience. The kids, the production staff, everybody was just, wow. It was great.
Hi. What can you tell us about your new Christmas movie that's coming out? And have you rubbed it in Mick's face that you're in a Christmas movie before he is?
Oh, I haven't yet, but thank you for pointing that out. Oh, I am so going to stick that right up his ass. And the size of his, I mean, he's got, 5, 6 raccoons up in there. Always looks like with those sweatpants, like 2 midgets under a blanket. Anyway, it's Merry Christmas, Elijah, and it's very heartwarming film. It's going to be out in theaters around the holidays this year. It is a story about a single father, a father with an autistic son, raising the autistic son, and the son has a stuffed polar bear. It's a mascot for a hockey team called Nook Bear, and I am the adult, full-grown size version of the stuffed bear. So I'm like the conscience for the father wearing a bear costume the whole time. So it was awesome. It was a great experience doing it. If you guys are interested too, I'm in Unnatural, which is a supernatural Western that's out on all the streaming networks, Tubi and Amazon Prime and Apple Plus, and then Homeless for the Holidays, which was another Christmas comedy the Christmas for Elijah is not a comedy, but Homeless for the Holidays is, and it's out on all those too. So you can check them out.
I just want to start with no disrespect, Mr. Snow, but
none taken. You'll find it hard to offend me.
Well, I'm not there yet.
Give it a shot, man.
As a long-time and committed OVW fan, I've noticed that OVW is really lacking a lot of star power.
Yeah, no kidding.
That being said, when can we see Aaron Greider back on TV?
When can we see Aaron Greider back on TV? Well, I know that they are planning a profile on America's Most Wanted here coming up, so he'll probably be out back then. But it's just when the opportunity arises. Quite honestly, like he's awesome. He's an amazing character, and the story with he and Freya that we did, that was over a year and a half long, was so much fun. Especially when I got him to drink jalapeno tequila. That was hilarious. He actually started physically sweating from it. So, and most of the stuff I used in the vignettes, like the fact that when Freya took him bowling and he had two bowling balls. Okay. He's got three of the other one. I don't know how. He had his own one for strikes, one for spares. Like he was wearing a Lilo and Stitch hoodie that his mother got him for Christmas the year before. And I'm like, you would wear that on a date? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, we're using that in all that's him. Every bit of it. So yeah, he's amazing. Oh, no way. Yeah, I'm sure. No way. We have any more questions? I mean, I was going to say I've given you a lot of material to ask questions about.
Okay, so because WWE is bringing in a lot of indie companies, they've just brought in AAA. Would you guys ever have the notion of ever having WWE superstars on OVW or vice versa?
Absolutely, yeah. Why would I not? I would love to, have those kind of relationships. I've always been open to and willing to work with whomever it might be, because I do feel that, especially on the level that we're at, you can accomplish a lot more by pooling resources than trying to be an island unto yourself. And there's always a way to work together and compromise and to where everyone benefits. And that's the only way I would always try to objectively try to do business, is to where all of us win. Because if only one of us win, then really nobody does. And in the bigger picture, in the longer term, it doesn't work. So I would be more than happy, and not just on a WWE level. If there were other companies that were genuinely, sincerely wanting to work together in some form or fashion, we'd be more than happy to do so. I mean, I don't see why we would be against that. It's going to come with its own struggles, for sure, and its own challenges, because everybody has their own vision, their own ideas, their own directions, because wrestling, at the end of the day, let's face it, it's very subjective, and mine's right and everybody else's is wrong. So, screw you.
Well, again, guys, thank you for taking some
we
time.
got another one here.
Oh, we do have one?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I'm relaxing up here. I wore my Depends so I wouldn't need a restroom break. Guys, come on. Yeah. Well, first off, which is good, your question, what do you think kayfabe is? Because a lot of you have a very misdirected or misguided idea of what it is. And I'll kind of help you, okay? Kayfabe is really a respect for you. That's what it is. Make no mistake. I've said this numerous times, all right? Make no mistake. You all didn't figure out that wrestling was fake just recently. What I mean by fake is predetermined, all right? The mass audience, especially here in the United States, has known since 1940. Do you understand? That's like you just figured out magic's not real. No, you haven't. We've all known that. Why does Chris Angel still have a residency at Luxor? Because that's an enormous investment. And the only way he pays that investment is if he draws an audience. But you're drawing an audience to something you all consciously know is what? It's not real. It's a trick, correct? But he kayfabes you. He gives you only so much so that you can believe in the magic. And there's got to be a balance of that still to this day with wrestling, because that was the one reason. It was because people were more ignorant. Your parents were dumber. Listen, my family, all of my family, I've talked about this numerous times. 1976, I went to my family, proudly pronounced, I want to be a wrestler, and they all went, why do you want to do that? That shit's fake. All of them. I love them dearly. Not one of them is a card-carrying Mensa candidate. Nor were any of them professional wrestlers. How did they know? Psychic abilities? I doubt that. Okay? Everyone knew. Why did thousands of people continue to pay to see what everyone knew was in on and believe emotionally to the point where we used to have riots? Was it because they were less intelligent? Was it because they didn't have the internet? No, we did. We agreed, you don't ask, we don't tell. We won't insult you or make you feel like you paid for something and now we've gotten you to invest emotionally in it, and now you feel stupid because we were like, we got over on you. It wasn't real in the first place. And that's where the stigma with wrestling being treated as the redheaded stepchild of entertainment has always stemmed from. Of like, we're trying to perpetrate a con on you like you weren't willingly going along with in the first place. And that's what kayfabe is. It's a respect for you. It doesn't differ from movies. You go watch a period piece, and the producers and the production company spends millions of dollars analyzing historical facts about that time period to where they copy the wallpaper, the clothing, so that you at no point in time while you're sitting in that theater and you invested your time, money, and effort feel like that was violated and you didn't get the return on the experience of what you invested. Same thing with wrestling. That's it. Is it dead? No, by no means is it dead. Should we share everything with you? No, we shouldn't. Everything that is shared with you, is it legit? Probably not. It's probably done to lead you in directions to make you evoke an emotional response to where it allows you to believe something even more, because you're like, well, it must be real. They wouldn't have said that way. Of course they wouldn't. If it were real, they're going to control all of it, because it's an illusion that they're wanting to allow you to be drawn into it so that you can be entertained. That's kayfabe. It ain't dead. Kayfabe was literally just a signal word to allow us to communicate that there was somebody in the locker room with us or somewhere nearby that we were going to smarten up and ruin the illusion. And it does ruin it for you. You know how many times over the years I've had people come up and go, oh, I used to be a huge fan. Then I saw so-and-so and so-and-so ride to the building together, and they hated each other, and I never watched it again. Why? Because it violated the investment. That's all kayfabe is. So don't get it misconstrued. Everyone thinks they understand that concept, and you don't. It's just a matter of respect. That's all it is. Damn, that was a good answer. I am on fire and all. Hey, calm down. Don't get hot. Don't yell at me, all right? Just pump the brakes. All right, go ahead. Oh, I can't either. Oh, we should talk because you're deaf. Worst injury, I don't know. I'd have to pick and choose, quite honestly. Probably that time I got my feelings hurt. I know I've broke my neck twice. One time, this was cool. I was on the road for like 14, 15 days, wrestling Too Cold Scorpio. And let me tell you something, when Fat Ass would, 450 or moonsault you, he would land on you. So 14 days later, I go home and I lean over like this and I hear click, click, click every time my heart beats. And I go, it went away. Hey, wait a minute. Click, click. So I was like, what is that? And my wife at the time walked in and I go, hey, listen to this. She's all the way on the other side of the room. Click. She goes, what is that? I go, I don't know. She goes, well, let's go to the doctor. I go to the doctor. No. I go, he goes, what are you here for? I go, stay there. What is this? Click, click. He goes, I don't know. I go, no shit. That's why I came to you. So they do a bunch of tests, right? And the only thing that he's guessing, he's like, well, you gave me something interesting in talking on the golf course. I go, well, that's great. I spent $150 for an office visit, so you have something to talk about on the golf course, you dick. Meanwhile, my heart's clicking against the inside of my chest. Apparently, you have a sac around your heart, and they think the impact swelled it, and that it depressed a rib in a little bit, and it was clicking against the inside of the rib. It went away. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. Multiple concussions. Those are fun. In my house, we have what we call surprise groceries. It's where I go grocery shopping. I get lost in the grocery store all the time and then come home with stuff. And my wife's like, why did you buy more cheese? And I'm like, I thought we needed it. And I've got 32 packs of cheese in there. Surprise. So that would probably be one of the more fun things. I've had my nose broke 13 times now, sleep apnea. That's awesome. I've had both my knees replaced. Now when I run, I hear the like $6 million man. You guys are too young. You don't know Steve Austin. Not beer drinking Steve Austin. Run with the bionic eye Steve Austin. Spaceman almost died in a crash, but they rebuilt him and made him better and stronger. Anyway, has anybody watched Manimal? That sucked, but it was great. Awesome. Simon McCorkindale. Man from Atlantis, Patrick Duffy. Swam like he was having a seizure. Anyway.
All right,
Yes,
we have time for one more question.
We're rolling.
Here we
now,
go, right
boys
over
and
here.
girls.
One more question.
Sorry. He thinks it's one more.
Your thoughts on Bubba the Love Sponge and how did Carney get involved in wrestling?
Well, wrestling started in the carnivals as physical acts. So, and carny, again, is used as a disparaging term. But be aware, psychologically, a lot of the aspects of your life every day were taken from the carnivals. The way that your grocery store is set up, department stores are set up psychologically the same way carnivals were. They take all of that from there. And they do it for a reason, because it's done to where they capitalize on and make the most money out of us. So carny's not a bad thing. We do use it because carny meaning like you have no real restrictions or kind of code or morals, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to just work a mark to take the money. And there are some people that are kind of carny like that, but even carnies weren't, they had a code, they had rules, and they had an honor system among themselves. So it's not a negative thing, but it does have a lot more influence on your life than you think. Any last one? We'll take one more. One more. We'll get one more. I think there was. They had an option until last September, and they never activated it. And now I think the new show that's WWE's putting out, I think wrestlers might be an inspiration for that show. And I think that, from what I understood, Netflix wanted to move in a direction of, doing some of the same types of things with more established brands. So, like the director producer that worked, Greg Whiteley, who's just a genius. He was the Dallas Cowboy. Sorry about that. That was gross. And if you thought it was bad for you listening to it, taste it when it comes back up. Phew, that egg McMuffin, or no, it was a steak, egg and cheese McMuffin this morning, or bagel. Boy, that bagel tasted like shit coming back up. He did one on the Red Sox. He's done one on the Yankees. He did one on the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. So I think that's the vein they're going in, is, and WWE's obviously, much more prominent brands. So Well, thank you very much. I really very flattering and appreciate that. And maybe, who knows, now that the option is elapsed for Netflix, that gives the option to another streaming services that they want to produce it and air it as well. So we'll see. So
Alrighty, I want you to put your hands together for Kal and Al.
thank you, guys.
And good luck to you on your match this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going to be taking home this heavy gold again tonight, boys and girls.